Vietnam, 1968. The DCS F4E Phantom is flying over the dense jungle canopy, dodging SAMs and fending off from enemy interceptors. One thing is for sure, there are many out there demanding a Vietnam map. But what if I told you that the sheer ambition of a DCS Vietnam comes with a minefield of challenges? Challenges so deep they might make it impossible. Well, today we're diving deep into the monumental hurdles standing in the way of this iconic theater ever becoming reality in DCS World, using official information directly from Eagle Dynamics, developer statements, and insight gathered across years of community discussions. So stick around, because I'll do my best to deliver a straight answer to the burning question: why is Vietnam still missing from DCS? Only here at How I Play. This video is sponsored by some of the best names in flight simulation. Check our links and exclusive discount codes in the description below. Hello virtual pilots, I'm Andre Celesti, and tonight we're diving into a sacred pool of information regarding a potential Vietnam map in DCS. Every time we talk about maps here on the channel, Vietnam always comes up. It's not a meme, it's not our "what about the Eurofighter" tease, it's something much deeper. It's a dream shared by passionate DCS pilots who have waited for decades to recreate the most iconic air war of the 20th century. We know it, Eagle Dynamics knows it, even Petrovich knows it. Vietnam is a milestone map that represents the heart and soul of Cold War air combat. And yet, for all its historical importance, in DCS World, this legendary setting remains out of reach. When talking about new map development in DCS, it's important to understand that there are clear distinctions between who makes the maps and who works on DCS, the platform. The latter is obvious, ED are the ones in charge of the core DCS experience. But yes, Eagle Dynamics themselves developed several maps as well. Their most recent works includes the Marianas Islands World War II, as well as Iraq and Afghanistan terrains. They also expressed interest in improving the long-standing Caucasus map. At the same time, their third-party collaborators are developing their own regional maps, each one approved by Eagle Dynamics before production begins. These choices usually depend on the developer's resources, expertise, and familiarity with the region. Now, I've seen some people argue that third-party developers should focus on improving the core DCS experience instead of making new maps. It's important to remember teams like Ugra Media, Henri Tech, and others don't work on DCS core technology. That's Eagle Dynamics' domain. So asking third-party studios to fix or enhance the DCS core isn't really a valid request. But the urge to improve and enhance the core DCS experience is a real thing. And this is where our Vietnam map story begins. If you're new here, How I Play is a channel where we explore everything combat flight simulation, from post reviews to industry news, helping you enhance your experience in this incredible niche. We post weekly, and you can find links, discounts, and community info in the description below. So, why nearly 60 years later is one of history's most pivotal air conflicts still uncharted territory in DCS World? Many DCS pilots dream of a Vietnam map, but few truly grasp the monumental technical and artistic obstacles involved. Unlike deserts or open terrain, Vietnam's dense jungles are a nightmare to render realistically. We've seen how even the Marianas Islands map, with its smaller islands and lush greenery, can cause severe performance drop when flying low. Now imagine thousands of square kilometers of dense jungle, winding rivers, and dynamic weather, rendering all of that at playable frame rates. That's a massive challenge. Unlike other games where a jungle environment is limited to a smaller sector, especially in FPS shooters like Gray Zone or even Arma 3 with larger maps but still limited in distance, DCS requires a large terrain mass in order to represent correctly a historical conflict or a fictional scenario within a certain part of the world, all at high speeds above the ground and on the shores of a detailed map where air-to-ground needs to be performed on a regular basis. Vietnam's terrain includes everything from mountain ranges to river deltas and rice paddies. All of this will be all dynamic environments, not just background scenery. It will also require DCS to evolve its river and weather systems, simulating the contrast between monsoons and dry seasons, something we don't have yet, but for sure it's possible. But beyond that, Vietnam's long, narrow geography means large-scale modeling of neighboring countries to ensure mission realism. Now, developers might go with the same approach seen in maps like Afghanistan or Iraq, where detailed zones are surrounded by lower resolution terrain, and maybe they would tackle some of the obstacles by releasing different areas of Vietnam at first. But make no mistake, building Vietnam in DCS isn't just another map. It's an engineering monster. Alright, let's assume the jungle problem is solved. Now we hit the next wall: destruction and terrain behavior. In today's DCS, trees are static objects. They don't fall when hit, they don't burn realistically, and they can even block explosions like armored plating. That's a huge problem when most of your targets are inside the jungle. You can't recreate realistic strike missions without dynamic vegetation destruction. Don't get me wrong, DCS has been improving. Trees now react to blasts and afterburners, but we're still far from the level of interaction needed for Vietnam. Games like Arma Reforger show what's possible with dynamic trees behavior and realistic environmental damage. DCS isn't there yet, but it needs to be if the Vietnam experience is to feel authentic. Consider also that Vietnam's asymmetric warfare relied heavily on camouflage. For example, enemy camps hidden under the jungle cover, bunkers disguised as foliage. To simulate that, DCS will need to handle layered terrain, deformable ground, and new destruction systems. And let's not forget the iconic napalm strikes and defoliation missions, all core to that historical atmosphere. It's not just an art problem, it's a physics one. The final barrier is pure technology. Eagle Dynamics has been clear that they're waiting for their new terrain SDK to fully mature before taking on such a project. One could say Vulkan is also highly required. A Vietnam map would push both performance and design tools beyond their limits. So while they do acknowledge community interest, it's a someday project, not a right now one. And even if the map existed, DCS would still need corresponding AI assets, ground units, and era-specific modules to complete the immersion. On that side, we're starting to see progress. The F4E Phantom 2 is here, the A6 Intruder, F8 Crusader, and F100 Super Saber are on the horizon. Classic helicopters like the Huey and Chinook could use variants updates to match the Vietnam era. Check our video on older modules that strongly require an upgrade or revamp ASAP. Bottom line, it's all moving in the right direction. Just very, very slowly. Developers have repeatedly confirmed that a Vietnam map is on the long-term wish list, but won't be announced until it's truly feasible. And they're right to wait. This map deserves more than a half-baked release. Meanwhile, the community keeps the dream alive through mods, Vietnam team missions, and incredible campaigns like Reflected Simulations, Paradise Lost for the Huey. Small glimpses of what could one day become reality. But even as maps are being produced faster than ever before, the Vietnam theater remains a different beast. One that would challenge even the most experienced map teams. That's the sad truth behind the question, why is Vietnam still missing from DCS? So then, can I ask you, our dear viewers, will we finally see a Vietnam map in the coming years? Or will it remain a distant dream? Who would you assign as a team to create this map in DCS? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you all for watching until the end, and don't forget to check out all the amazing deals and coupon codes from our sponsors in the description. You get discounts and you help support the channel in the process. A big thank you to our Patreon members that continue to support the channel and our first 2 channel members, Warden and Tim. And as always, I'm Andre Celesti, reminding you to fly safe, and I'll see you next time.